Every year, thousands of people share the same chilling story. A quiet cat suddenly refuses to leave someone's side. It sleeps beside them. It watches them in complete silence. Sometimes, it even refuses to eat. Then, just hours or a few days later, that person passes away. Coincidence, or is the cat sensing something humans simply cannot? For centuries, cats have been surrounded by mystery. Ancient civilizations believed they could see beyond the visible world. Some cultures honored them as guardians between life and death. Others feared them as silent messengers of the unknown. Even today, countless people believe their cat somehow knew that the end was near. But is there any scientific evidence behind this extraordinary belief? Or is it simply another legend, passed down through generations? The answer may be far more fascinating than most people could ever imagine. For centuries, stories like these were dismissed as nothing more than myths, until one extraordinary cat changed everything. His name was Oscar. Oscar lived in a nursing home in the United States. At first, he seemed like any other cat, quiet, calm, almost invisible. But over time, the nurses began noticing something deeply unsettling. Oscar had a habit. He would quietly walk through the hallways, then stop. At the door of one particular patient, without hesitation, he would jump onto the bed, curl up beside them, and remain there, sometimes for hours. At first, no one thought much of it. But after it happened again and again, a pattern began to emerge. Many of the patients Oscar chose passed away only hours later. The coincidence became impossible to ignore. Doctors began carefully documenting every case. Medical staff watched in disbelief as the same mysterious behavior repeated itself. Soon, the story spread far beyond the walls of that nursing home. Newspapers reported it. Television programs discussed it. People around the world asked the same chilling question. Was Oscar somehow predicting death, or was he sensing something that humans simply couldn't? Scientists became fascinated, and before long, they began searching for an answer. What if? The answer isn't supernatural at all. What if cats aren't predicting death, but simply detecting changes, long before we can? Cats experience the world in ways humans never could. Their sense of smell is extraordinary. In fact, it is estimated to be many times more sensitive than our own. As the human body becomes seriously ill, its chemistry begins to change. Tiny chemical compounds are released through the skin, the breath, and even body fluids. To us, these changes are completely undetectable. But to a cat, they may be impossible to miss. Their remarkable senses don't stop there. Cats are masters of observation. They notice slower movements, a weaker voice, a different breathing rhythm, a slight rise or fall in body temperature. Even the smallest change in facial expression or heartbeat can become another piece of the puzzle. While we often overlook these subtle signals, a cat may be quietly collecting them, one by one. This doesn't mean cats understand death itself. It simply means they may recognize that something inside the human body has changed, and sometimes they notice it long before anyone else does. So, can cats really sense death? For centuries, people have believed they can, but what does science actually say? Despite decades of research, there is no scientific evidence that cats possess supernatural abilities. There is no proof that they can predict the future or know exactly when someone will die. Yet, science has revealed something just as remarkable. Cats can detect incredibly subtle changes that most humans never even notice. A faint change in body scent, a slower movement, a different breathing pattern, a slight change in daily routine. To us, these signals may seem invisible, but to a cat, they can speak volumes. What appears mysterious may simply be the result of extraordinary senses, refined through millions of years of evolution. Perhaps The greatest mystery isn't that cats can sense death. Perhaps it's that they notice life changing long before we ever do. Even when we believe they're asleep, they're listening, watching, smelling, always aware of the world around them, far more than we realize. Maybe that's why these stories continue to live on. Not because cats can see death, but because they recognize the smallest changes in life before anyone else can. And perhaps that alone is extraordinary enough.